Hello friends and potential friends. Well, it's been about 2 weeks since I started planting seeds, and as you can see there are quite a few seedlings popping up in here. And if you've been paying attention, you might notice that a number of things are missing from in here. It's been kind of a strange germination time for me this year. Basil has not been doing well at all, except for the holy basil. Now those were new seeds that I bought this year, and it looks like 5 out of the 6 cups have germinated there. The Genovese basil and the mammoth basil, not a thing. I haven't decided whether I'm going to plant any more basil seeds, but we'll see what I do with that. The slow bolt cilantro, that's doing pretty good over here. In fact, that's ready to go outside. I've got a few green onions popping up, a little bit of spinach. Looks like 11 of the 12 rosemary cuttings that I planted are coming along nicely. Cauliflower did nothing. Catnip did nothing. Swiss chard came up good, but it was still pretty warm, and a lot of those are really drooping. Now it's not warm now. We're actually in what Florida considers to be a fall temperatures here the last couple of days, but we were in the 80s and 90s prior to that. And as you can see, my Mishahili Asian cabbage is not doing well at all. Neither is the golden acre cabbage. I've never been able to grow that Mishahili stuff. I've tried a number of times and I just can't seem to figure out what it likes. And I got the sneaky feeling that what it really likes is to be planted farther north. I've got a second tray of my favorite tomatoes that I planted just a couple days ago. None of them have come up yet. And that's mainly because the first tray that I planted of them, hardly anything came up in those. A few of the Romas popped up and a few of the homesteads, but they only lasted a few days and then they died back. And a lot of the empty spaces you see in here are things that have moved outside. So let's go see what I've got out there. I guess first we can stop by the patio. Check out the upcoming pineapple plantation. Got 11, looks like 11 or 12 pups coming along nicely. In fact, this one down here is actually growing another pup next to it. That's interesting. That was from one of the knobs that I cut off of that one pineapple bush last year. Things to come. Ginger and turmeric tower are pretty much gone crazy. They've been flowering. There's one of the ginger flowers. It's bent over right there. Some of the turmeric is starting to die back a little bit. And probably with this cooler weather, a lot of this will be dying back. So looks like y'all might get to see a turmeric and ginger harvest before long. Still have not cleaned out this bed very much, but it does still have some comfrey growing in it, and the aloe, of course. I started up a salad tower. Got nasturtiums and marigolds in the bottom level. I usually plant those there because that bottom level doesn't seem to get watered as well as the rest of the tower. I think there's one tier of Swiss chard, mainly because I had a Swiss chard that survived from last summer. So I filled the rest of that tier in with more Swiss chard. And the rest of this is all lettuce of various types. And some of it is really starting to grow good just in the last couple of days. I think it likes this cold weather. I had to stretch out the electric fence because the raccoons were playing in the garden last night. They did a lot of digging in some of my beds. Oh, Mamba's out hunting. Yep, he's got a lizard or a snake or something there. What you getting, Mamba? Oh, did I scare it or scare you and let it get away? I'm sorry. Yeah, I'm not sure where it went, but he does like to play with his food. Okay, back to the garden. Another sign of things to come. These sweet potatoes have been in here for a bit over 120 days. So I'll be digging those pretty soon, along with these ones over here. Uh-oh, and I see a sweet potato flower over there. I'm gonna have to get those out of there before I get any seeds, because I just do not trust those sweet potato seeds. I haven't done a lot with this tower yet, mainly because I've got cinnamon basil that survived the summer. There is some other spots where it looks like there's some more basil coming up. So currently I'm just letting everything pretty much come up as it wants to. Love that basil. You can see some of the signs where the raccoons were playing in here last night. Still have some comfrey growing here. Down at the far end, I planted some Clemson spineless okra. Figure I'm not going to be here in the summer to pick okra every day, so I'd see if I can grow some of it in the winter. And so far, they're coming along pretty nice. Don't have a lot in here. I think this is going to be a garlic bed soon, mainly because I do have just a little bit of elephant garlic that popped up that I planted last summer, or last spring, I guess I should say. Down here I've got collards. I believe the far end here is the cabbage collards, and then this end is the Georgia collards. And they're doing okay so far. Now this bed is actually empty, and you can see some of the destruction that the raccoons did overnight. They were in there digging everything. This used to be completely covered with mulch. So that's the main reason I had to put that fence back together. Back over here, got a variety of things that I brought out of the lab. Got 2 rolls of Brussels sprouts there, 2 rows of Black Beauty eggplant, 2 rolls of Waltham broccoli. It looks like a couple of those are struggling a little bit. And then 2 rows of curled kale. I need to get some mulch on that bed. This bed is pretty much becoming purslane. We had that one plant at the end that I decided to keep, and now it's popping up all over the place in here. But at some point, I'm probably going to have carrots and onions planted in here. There is a sweet potato flower. Now this presents a dilemma, because these sweet potatoes were all planted from slips. And I really didn't expect to get any flowers from them. So I may just have to let that go and see if I can get a few seeds, because I know these produce tubers. In fact, there's one that's coming up out of the ground and turning green on me, but it's starting to grow more slips. Yeah, that whole vine is trying to go to flower. And since that is from sweet potatoes grown from slips, maybe I should try to get some seeds out of it and continue the sweet potatoes from seed experiment. That's the only flower I've seen so far. A couple of weeds. This bed is empty. I probably will be planting some beans in here on one side, and if I get any tomatoes to grow, I'll put them on the far side. Then I have a few assorted containers out here. One more bed that's got a few sweet potatoes from slips, some pineapples that I need to deal with. There's Snowflake. I don't think she likes the idea of having that fence put up. She's had free reign of the place for a while. And then finally we have the Patience garden. Still growing good. I'm still not eating them, but this spring I'm gonna have asparagus for one meal. I had a few of the seedlings popped up, which I put in this far end, and I see they're still doing well. And then I went through and I just poked a bunch of seeds in here at each end, trying to get this thing filled in with plants. So that's where the main part of the garden is at right now. And back in the back, I found the secret for growing lemongrass. Just totally ignore it. It's growing all over the place. There's a hibiscus, self-planted. Gardenia plant is still looking good. The avocado I've got in the ground is looking good. In fact, there's some new growth all over it. That seems to be pretty happy. Back in this side, we've got the Meyer lemon that I grew from seed. Still quite a few weeds around it, but it's up about 8 or 9 feet tall. I may have to trim that back if it goes dormant for me. The loquat that I grew from seed is growing pretty good. And the old original Ponderosa lemon is still back there in the brush, and it still has a couple of lemons hanging on it. In fact, that one looks like it's starting to turn yellow on me now. But I'm not going to walk back in there because there's still a lot of brush and brambles back there. On the other end, we've got the backyard pineapple plantation, which I need to make wood chips and get a bunch of wood chips spread around these things. Got 6 plants back here. There's some more turmeric growing in the bed where I planted the guava. Unfortunately, it looks like the guava didn't make it through the summer, but the pomegranate did. It was almost buried in all the brush, but it still survived. And walking back here towards the back end, I think there's still a fig back in there somewhere. Although right at the moment I still can't even see where its bed is at. Sugar cane is doing good. There's a trash tree growing in front of it that I need to get rid of. This is the Ponderosa lemon that I grew from seed, and it's up about 8 feet tall too. And that one lemon is starting to turn yellow. Not bad size, it's about the size of a softball. I'll be tasting that pretty soon to see how it turned out. Yeah, there's still a little bit of sugar cane back there. The mulberry, this I grew from a cutting a year or so ago, and it's turning into a tree. That's a good 12 to 15 feet tall, that one branch. Now I'm gonna have to start trimming that thing back because I'm not gonna be climbing trees to get berries. Looks like we got some kind of bugs on it though. My other pomegranate back here in the shade is still doing okay. The blueberry's still alive. That surprised me. And I see there's a little bit more turmeric over there in the back corner. Beauty berries are about done producing fruit for the year, which is okay because I don't need any more beauty berry juice. And I still have a lot of cleanup to do back in here. At least now with the cooler weather, I can stand to get out here during the day and get more of it done. But there's basically an initial tour of my Florida winter garden. I'll be keeping an eye on things, tasting things when I can, bringing things out of the lab, be planting some more seeds out here direct sow, and I might even put another raised bed right over there in that empty spot. But that's where we're at the moment. Hope you enjoyed it, and I'll try to keep the green growing for anybody up north that needs a green fix from time to time. And I'll see you next time.